Andrea Pirlo has stayed silent for years. No rankings, no GOAT battles, no headlines. And then, suddenly, he said this. One of them makes the ball feel lighter, the other makes the goal feel smaller. Think about that for a second. What does it mean to lighten the ball? How can a player shrink the goal without touching it? Is Pirlo talking about talent, fear, control, or is he revealing something deeper that statistics can't explain? Before we go any further, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear is not a classic Messi versus Ronaldo debate. To understand why these words hit so hard, you need to understand who Andrea Pirlo is. Not a defender chasing shadows, not a striker living off instinct. Pirlo was a controller of tempo, a man who read football like a chessboard. Andrea Pirlo faced both Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo at the highest level. Champions League nights, international tournaments, moments where one mistake meant elimination. He didn't watch them from TV screens, he felt them on the pitch. Now look at the numbers that frame this confession. Messi, at 38 years old, still leads modern football with 71 goal contributions in a single season, defying age, logic, and even time itself. Ronaldo, at his peak, produced 60-goal seasons, turning half chances into inevitabilities. Yet Pirlo isn't impressed by totals. He isn't talking about ballon d'ors. He's talking about what happens before the goal, before the assist, before the crowd even reacts. So here's the real question. Why would a midfield genius say that one man changes the weight of the ball while the other changes the size of the goal? Pirlo didn't come to this conclusion in an interview studio. He didn't find it in a spreadsheet. He discovered it inside the chaos of elite matches when order disappears and instinct takes over. Against Messi, Pirlo remembers a strange feeling. The pressure was there. The crowd was loud. The tactical plan was clear. And yet, every time Messi received the ball, something unnatural happened. The game slowed down, but only for him. Defenders stepped forward, then hesitated. Passing lanes looked closed, then suddenly opened. What should have been a heavy, risky touch became effortless. Pirlo once hinted that when Messi was on the pitch, you felt like football rules were being rewritten in real time. You pressed correctly, you positioned yourself well, and still, the ball escaped, not with speed, but with intelligence. Ronaldo created a completely different memory. When Pirlo's teams faced him, the fear didn't come from confusion. It came from certainty. You knew where Ronaldo wanted to go. You knew the cross was coming. You knew the shot was inevitable, and yet you couldn't stop it. Pirlo described that sensation as standing in front of a goal that suddenly felt smaller. Angles disappeared. Margins vanished. One mistake, half a second late, and it was over. So Pirlo wasn't comparing skills. He was describing two different forms of domination. One invisible, one brutal. When Pirlo says that Messi makes the ball feel lighter, he's not being poetic for the sake of it. He's describing a physical illusion experienced by everyone around Messi, teammates, opponents, even referees. With Messi, the ball never seems to weigh the same as it does for others. One touch removes pressure, 2 touches erase a defender, 3 touches collapse an entire defensive block. What Pirlo is pointing at is cognitive speed. Messi doesn't run faster than everyone. He thinks faster than the situation itself. Before the defender commits, Messi has already calculated the angle. Before the tackle arrives, Messi has already shifted the ball 5 centimeters, just enough to escape. And when the ball leaves his foot, it doesn't look powerful. It looks obvious, inevitable, simple. That's why pressing Messi feels useless. You don't lose because you made a mistake. You lose because the game has been simplified against you. Pirlo understood this better than most because he lived in the same mental space. Tempo, weight of the pass, rhythm of the match. Against Messi, Pirlo noticed that defenders started doubting themselves. Should I step in? Should I wait? Should I follow the run or protect the space? And that hesitation, that half second of doubt, is where Messi wins. The ball becomes lighter because the decisions are already made. Messi doesn't fight the game, he dissolves it. So when Pirlo talks about Messi, he's not talking about dribbles or assists, he's talking about control without force, a player who doesn't overpower football, a player who convinces football to obey him. If Messi dissolves the game, Ronaldo compresses it. When Pirlo says that Ronaldo makes the goal feel smaller, he's describing psychological suffocation, not confusion, not doubt, pressure. Against Ronaldo, defenders don't hesitate. They panic, because everything about Ronaldo screams intent. His movement is vertical. His runs are violent. His timing is ruthless. You see him accelerate before the cross is even delivered. You feel him arrive before you've finished turning your head. And when he jumps, space disappears. That's the key difference Pirlo is pointing to. Ronaldo doesn't need to surprise you. He needs to arrive first. The goal feels smaller because the margin for error is gone. Block the shot half a meter too late, it's a goal. Misjudge the jump by 10 centimeters, it's a goal. Lose concentration for 1 second, it's a goal. Pirlo understood that Ronaldo weaponized certainty. Defenders knew the outcome was coming. They just couldn't change it. While Messi manipulates space horizontally, Ronaldo attacks it vertically. While Messi creates doubt, Ronaldo creates urgency. While Messi pulls the game apart, Ronaldo forces it to a conclusion. That's why goalkeepers often talk about Ronaldo differently. Not about fear, about inevitability. Against him, angles feel tighter, time feels shorter, and the goal, once wide and forgiving, suddenly feels unforgiving and narrow. Pirlo wasn't saying Ronaldo is less intelligent. He was saying Ronaldo dominates by closing the game, not opening it, and that distinction matters more than any statistic. What makes Pirlo's words so powerful is that they don't belong to this generation alone. They echo through football history. There have always been players who expanded the game and others who finished it. Think of Johan Cruyff, who stretched space with ideas, or Diego Maradona, who bent reality with imagination. Then think of Gerd Müller or Ronaldo Nazario, who turned chances into endings. Pirlo is quietly telling us that Messi and Ronaldo are not rivals inside the same category. They are two answers to two different football problems. Messi answers chaos with clarity. Ronaldo answers uncertainty with finality. That's why modern data struggles to settle the debate. Expected goals can't measure fear. Heat maps can't show hesitation. And algorithms can't calculate what happens in a defender's mind when he knows he's already late. Pirlo's confession doesn't choose a side. It changes the question. Not who is better, but which kind of domination scares you more. And that is why, more than 15 years later, the debate is still alive. Andrea Pirlo didn't rank Messi and Ronaldo. He revealed something deeper. Two different ways to control football itself. One makes the game feel lighter, simpler, almost weightless. The other makes the target disappear, the margin vanish, the ending inevitable. So now the question is yours. If you were on the pitch, which would you fear more? Confusion or certainty? Leave your answer in the comments, like the video if this perspective changed the way you see the debate, and subscribe for more stories told without filters. There is one final layer Pirlo never needed to say out loud. Time. Because logic says both Messi and Ronaldo should have faded quietly. Different styles, same fate. Slower legs, less explosiveness, fewer decisive moments. And yet, reality refused. With Messi, age didn't take away control. It concentrated it. At 36, then 37, then 38, Messi stopped fighting defenders altogether. He started fighting structures. He dropped deeper, dictated tempo, chose moments like a conductor choosing silence before sound. Those 71 goal contributions weren't the product of speed. They were the product of anticipation, knowing where the danger would be before it existed. Opponents didn't say, he's slower now. They said, he's everywhere. Ronaldo, meanwhile, made a different deal with time. He didn't adapt by slowing down. He adapted by specializing. Fewer touches, shorter movements, more punishment per action. Ronaldo became a moment, one run, one jump, one strike, and suddenly the entire match revolved around preventing that single second. This is where Pirlo's words gain their final meaning. Messi beats time by dissolving the game. Ronaldo beats time by ending it. Neither surrendered. They just chose different ways to survive football's cruelest enemy. And maybe that's why the debate refuses to die. Because we're not arguing about players anymore. We're arguing about how greatness endures. When coaches speak privately, their fear is never abstract. It's practical, tactical, immediate. Several managers have admitted the same uncomfortable truth. You prepare differently for Messi than for Ronaldo. And neither plan ever feels sufficient. Against Messi, the fear is systemic. You don't just mark a player, you redesign your midfield. Coaches know that if Messi drops 5 meters deeper, the entire structure collapses with him. Your pivot follows, your center back steps out, your full back hesitates, and suddenly, the space you were protecting no longer exists. That's why a coach like Carlo Ancelotti once admitted that stopping Messi isn't about defenders. It's about denying him decisions, something almost impossible for 90 minutes. Ronaldo creates the opposite nightmare. Against him, the fear is terminal. You don't worry about the build-up. You worry about the finish. One cross changes everything. One transition forces your defensive line 5 meters deeper. One lapse in concentration turns a controlled match into chaos. Coaches describe Ronaldo as a countdown. You know the moment is coming. You just don't know when. That's why Pirlo's distinction resonates so deeply in coaching circles. Messi attacks your plan. Ronaldo attacks your result. And in modern football, losing either one is fatal. Here is the uncomfortable truth hiding inside Pirlo's silence. The Messi versus Ronaldo debate has been framed the wrong way for more than a decade. We ask who scored more, who won more trophies, who dominated longer. But Pirlo's words quietly destroy that battlefield. Because how do you compare a player who erases difficulty with one who erases hope? Messi doesn't beat you at the end. He beats you before the duel even begins. Before the tackle. Before the decision. Before you realize you've already lost control. Ronaldo doesn't negotiate. He arrives. He finishes. He closes the story. One dominates the process. The other dominates the outcome. And that's why every GOAT ranking feels incomplete. Because football has never had two kings fighting for the same throne. It has had two empires. Running in parallel. Never truly colliding. Pirlo didn't choose Messi. He didn't choose Ronaldo. He chose something far more dangerous. He chose to tell us that greatness isn't a single definition. And maybe that's why this rivalry has lasted so long, because deep down, we're not arguing about numbers. We're arguing about how we believe football should be won. So now, the final question belongs to you. Do you fear the player who confuses you, or the one who ends you? Comment your answer, like the video if this perspective changed your view of the Messi-Ronaldo debate, and subscribe for more football stories told without filters. There is one last detail Pirlo hinted at, almost by accident. When Messi and Ronaldo were both on the pitch, teammates behaved differently. With Messi, players asked for the ball more. They moved. They trusted that something would open. With Ronaldo, players crossed earlier. They shot less. They deferred the ending. That difference tells you everything. Messi invites participation. Ronaldo demands precision. One elevates collective intelligence. The other sharpens collective discipline. Pirlo understood that as a midfielder because he lived between those two worlds, creation and conclusion. And maybe that's why his words linger. Because they don't flatter fans. They expose football itself. Not as a game of opinions, but as a game of choices under pressure. And Messi and Ronaldo forced the hardest choice of all. How do you want to win?